In preparation for what is potentially the most impactful Digimon tournament ever, the North American Championship Finals, I'm going to be reacting to the finals match from both the EU Finals and the Latin America Finals. Let's do this. Welcome back, everyone. My name is Steven. I'm your true champion, and that is right. Tomorrow is the day I am participating in the North American National Finals, and I am just so excited. 15 plus rounds potentially of Swiss play, followed by a top cut. It's going to be a crazy weekend, and I plan on streaming the entire thing. Be sure to check out my live streams on Twitch. Link is down below. Be sure to follow so you don't miss out, and come cheer your boy on as he tries to become the truest champion of North America. With that said, today we're doing something pretty cool. I wanted to check out the two final matches from the Latin America and EU National Finals that happened last weekend. The finals matches for both of these tournaments were very different, and I think we can learn a lot of stuff. So, if you're like me and want to get in some last-minute playtesting or just some nice theory crafting about this tournament, hopefully this video will help you out. Today I'm reacting to the EU Finals between Alistair and Spoogie, both playing Bond of Friendship. I actually remember watching a bit of these finals because, believe it or not, I was up at 4 AM PST while this was happening, but I did not watch the whole thing, so I'm super excited to see what actually went down to decide the Europe National Champion. If you guys are excited for this video as well as the continuation of my reaction series, be sure to let me know by smashing that like button, subscribing to the channel, and clicking that bell for notifications. You know when my videos go live for you. Anyways, I've stalled y'all long enough. Let's go ahead and check out the finals match between Alistair and Spoogie. Alright, y'all, here we are. I have the Twitch VOD pulled up for the national finals for Europe between Spoogie and Alistair. Both players are playing Gabubond, but let me tell you, these Gabubond lists could not be different. I'll put both on screen right now. The first one will be Spoogie's, and the second one will be Alistair's. Spoogie is very clearly going for a super consistent, streamlined version of Gabubond, just the best cards. Can't complain, love to see it. And then Alistair is going for a pretty teched out version, playing interesting things like Cordgermon and Magnadramon, cards you're not really seeing anymore in Gabubon. So I'm really interested to see how these differences in the list actually affects the mirror match. Overall though, huge congratulations to both of these players as well as everyone else that did very well in the finals. That tournament was pretty crazy, and it's good to see some two top players here fighting for that big championship cup. With that said, I have this hour-long match pulled up at 1.5 times speed, muted so we don't get any conflicts with the actual commentators as I'm saying things. So, all that being said, let's hop into it. 3, 2, 1, digital gate open. And like I said, we have 1.5 times speed. I believe Alistair is starting off hatching an Upamon. Pretty clutch. And let's see how this goes. And there's that Cordgermon I was talking about. Not the best thing to hard play on your turn 1, but getting 2 free cards is fine. Let's see how Spoogie capitalizes with all these free cards. And that's a scary amount of glare. Hopefully we'll find out what that egg is later. But starting off at 6, let's see what he goes for. Usually when you're given this much memory, it's kind of tough. That looks like a mat to me, given that it costed 3. And there's the Octomon leaving his opponent at 2. So if this Cordgermon does swing in, it is at risk of being swung back into by the Octomon. Cordgermon does swing, and it reveals a Kendo. Well, it's dead anyway, so who cares? No need to swing into it now. This matchup's always super interesting. The Bond mirror is like scary, and there's the Mechanorimon. Just more and more text that I keep talking about. Sadly though, Mechanorimon is not stronger than Octomon. Ah, and the glare is perfectly fixed. Thank you, Sun, for being a friend. No promote on the Gabu. He must not have another Gabu in hand. That's actually a really like pro play that Spoogie did. So many other Gabumon players I've seen just constantly promote their Gabumons, but they don't actually draw anymore afterward. So now they have no way to go into Bond when that is, you know, your whole win condition. So Spoogie is choosing to sacrifice card advantage for maintaining his win condition potential when he needs to go for it. Not the biggest brain play in the world, but one you'd be surprised no one makes. Or I should say, people don't make that often. And there's a second mat. Ooh, he's gonna get even more value now on this Gabumon by just leaving it in the raising area. Super cool. Speaking of mat, there's another mat. And man, no rookie for Alistair. Big yikes. But now he feels safe because he probably has the Gabumon or has just more outs to it now that he has the mats established and can get that extra draw. Probably just debating the best way to kind of go for damage here. We do see a Howling coming down, stunning the Mechanorimon, allowing you to swing and get the Upa draw. That's just value on value. Gabumon will die here, that's expected. I wish there was like actually access to 2-drop cards in the Gabumon list, but no one's playing 2-drop vanillas anymore. I miss the days where that was optimal. Strabi Whiff here, revealing Kakaitis Breath and Ikakumon, 2 of the only tech cards you could say Spooky is playing. They're pretty standard. I wonder how valuable this Mechanorimon's going to end up being for the long term in this game, because I've actually found, even though I'm a huge fan personally of what Mechanorimon can do, against Bond specifically, it never like protects you from dying. It just protects you from early chip damage, which Spooky has already gotten. And that's why I think people like Spooky have chosen not to include cards like that, because they don't really help you from dying. So why would I play them when I can just play more cards that help me at winning, right? Always interesting trade-off when it comes to building decks. Do I build to win or not to lose? Then we see the Lobo come down. That's never fun, man. When you run out of ways to draw cards and you're like, well, here's a Lobo commit. I can't evolve in the raising area because I'll lose my Gabumon. So we gotta do it here. Like, even though Gabumon's a super consistent deck, there's weird plays you have to make sometimes to make it flow nicely. And they're never fun, but, you know, gotta do what you gotta do, right? No risk of dying. If he goes for Bond, he's definitely down in the crackback. Alistair probably needs to, like solidify some kind of aggression here, but his hand probably is just full of Tamers and Hybrids, and wasting all that card space on the board just won't do anything for him in the long run. I believe this match goes to 3 games, too, so we have a lot of fun to watch. And we see the double Ice Wall just to leave his opponent at 1. He wasn't really at any threat of dying, because I don't think Spooky would get that much memory. But I do know that Spooky plays heavy hybrids, so, you know, anything's possible. I don't know what this does for him, really, because, like, Spooky can just, like, stay in the raising, like, one more turn and play a rookie here. He is going to choose to promote. Interesting. That probably means he's going to go for an attack. If he doesn't, he runs the risk of his whole board getting wiped by Bond, and that could definitely put a hitch in his ability to kill Alistair, so see what happens. I really wish I could see their hands here. That way I could, like, properly armchair quarterback, but for now, I'll just go with they're making the best plays possible, and I'll try to figure out what. Ice Wall him right back, right? Anything you can do, I can do better. And there we see another Lobo coming down just for the extra filter, but he's definitely not attacking here, and he's going to go for the double Ice Wall. Oh, no. This is interesting. So, okay, the reason for the double Ice Wall is so even if he goes for Bond, he's only getting 1 swing. Protect his board that way. And thus, Alistair will have 0 incentive to do anything. And with the current board state, Spooky does have games. So he's more than comfortable with not having a second Gabu, though, could be big yikes. There we see a Hammer Spark coming down, going to 4. Probably going to be, like, hard playing, yep, a Davis, and then probably going to end his turn with, like, Howling Memory Boost or something. I'm surprised he didn't just play the Davis outright to choke it at 1. Maybe he has, like, a boost that he wants to use on the Gabu so it can't attack. Oh, there's Absolute Blast, and that will probably get rid of the Gabu, I would assume, to get rid of the threat of Bond. Huh. But this does open up nothing, actually, for Spook. For a second, I thought he had 2 Tamers in play. Had he had 2 Tamers, he could go, like, play Memory Boost, swing, evolve.
He has 6 memory left, so he can do something.
Nope, he's probably just going to play the setup game once. Now that Alistair is guaranteed to go to 3 next turn, he could go for Bond, deal 3 damage, but then he needs to find a way to play a hybrid and then another hybrid, so he probably won't choose.
Memory boost.
There's the Howling I was talking about. He probably will get the damage in.
Make some problems on the Mechanori. Yep.
Yep.
Mechanori can block.
Stop the Mechanori from being able to block.
So
that's good.
Can
goes for 5.
To the security.
Checks an Octo, kills. That's fine.
Okay. So double Lobo.
5.
Security. So
ooh, the Cordramon. That could be bad, given that Spooky did not stun the Gabu. Because he can just go for a Bond and attack 3 times. And if he has, like, double Hammer Spark Lobo, that is game. Barring any checks from Spooky, of course. That's why the Cordramon is, like, super sick against the more aggro-focused decks like Gabu Bond. And it's totally understandable why Alistair would feel the need include it in his deck
He's
as
knowing how to remove
more and
his
more
Gabu.
punishes to mirror match or all the aggro decks you're seeing flying around, like Agubond or Ingesmon 10. What will Spooky do now? If he has a third copy of Boost, which I don't think he actually plays in his deck, that'd be super sick here to get rid of the Gabu, but he's going to play a Strabi to go to 0.
To look for
And he's going to probably grab...
some timers and
I would grab Kendo if he doesn't have already a bunch of hybrids in hand. Oh, I'm so silly. I always forget that Strawberry can grab two things, even though I play this deck. So that's pretty fire.
And I think for this
Getting that as well. He can go for the mat to guarantee memory, as well as the 2 boosts. But then he's just like praying not to die. But there we see the Ice Wall coming down, allowing him to play the mat and the Ice Wall to make sure he runs as low a risk as possible to dying. Given that there's no memory boosts on Alistair's side, I think he's pretty safe. We would need to see a lot also from Alistair to like stop Spooky from, because he has 2 mem boosts and potentially 2 mats or whatever else he chooses to play this turn. And there's the mat, like I said, passing 3 over to Alistair, and here we go. Let's see. I don't see a world where Alistair can get the attacks he needs in, but how's he gonna not lose? This could be a good moment for like Ice Wall plus Magnadramon, which we do know he plays in his deck. Because that'd be a lot of memory that he needs to get and spend in order to get the attacks he needs. He has a second Gabu in the raising area to set up game for himself if Spooky does go for Bond and fails. This is always like the cool play or the cool pressure that Bond decks put on their opponents, like a Gabu in the raising and 2 mats. Good luck trying to stop me from going for Bond. And there we see the Mordecai Betamon coming down, probably trying to prevent those Howling Memory Boosts from doing anything. And there we see the 2-drop mat. I forgot he was playing this in his deck. That's a fun memory gainer. We're seeing cards like that and Thor Joe being thrown in now into Bond decks for just extra memory gain, because there's a lot you can do in this deck. And now Spooky is just doing the math. He's like, okay, how can I win this? Like, what do you have available to you? Can't pop these boosts before I swing. So there is a risk that if that first card in the security is Bond, he won't have enough attacks to survive. Also, he'll have to waste his first Bond tuck on the Mordecai Betamon instead of the Mechanorimon. And that could be a problem, since the Mechanorimon can then block. But no Ice Wall was played, so it's not like having a second or third attack actually matters here, given that he has Strabimon already. Real threat is the Mordecai. Takes the risk of Hammer Spark or Ice Wall being the first security card and just ending Spooky's turn, which would probably end the game, given how much memory Alistair will have access to. This is where cards like Forbidden Trident are super cool techs in Gabubon, because it allows you to, for 1 memory, get a Kendo-like effect that could bounce cards like Mordecai Betamon, and then you won't have to risk checking a Hammer Spark, because you'll just go to 0, you can pop your Mem Boost, go into Bond, and then you just win. But here he has to make a choice, which is evolve into Kendo, risk the exact same thing we're risking right now, or go into Bond and risk the same thing we're risking right now, but also lose 2 security. So if I was Spooky, I'd go for the Kendo play, as it allows me to not immediately lose on the crackback, but it is very likely. But the Mordecai Betamon will be gone. Bright side is you yourself could check Hammer Sparks and whatnot to survive. Oh, and he's gonna probably Kendo on the mat. That's fine. Keep the Strabi around for an attack. No real reason not to, I guess. Does swing. He does bounce the Mordecai. And if I was Alistair, I'd just take this one. Or you pop the mech here, so that way you can get the block out the way now. But your win condition is Hammer Spark, so you may as well just check it now and not waste any time. But I don't believe this match is timed, so who cares? Ah, and it's a Gabu, so now we just do the thing. Yep, go Burr, swing, tuck the mech, and that's it for game 1. Moving on to game 2, I believe Alistair is going first this time. By the way, guys, sorry for that first game. I know some audio was peeking in. Don't worry, I fixed it. And here we go for game 2. Alistair is going first, evolves into Strabi. That's fine to do now, given that no mats are in play. You don't whiff any actual memory or resources. And let's see what he wants to go for. There's the, ooh, okay, so like early Kendo is good, but not right there, because you're probably sacrificing too many resources early. But given that you're almost always giving 3 memory most of the time to your opponents, you're used to it. May as well make it like a bit unoptimal for Spooky to commit rookies to the board. Still could though. Oh, ooh, he gets the Upamon trigger and he bounces the Drabu. At least the Drabu goes back to hand so Spooky can use it again. But it's still like hinky. It's still a little hinky. There's the Hammer Spark, the draw off the Upa. They went out of order, but it's fine. They're seasoned players. They're announcing their effects, I'm sure. I won't get mad at them. Anyway, and there's the EX1 Gabu coming down, passing over to Gabumon does come up this time. We know he has a Gabu in hand, so it's fine. Does he have a mat? Get Buku value here. That'd be cool. Or does he have Octomon to go Octo Evo, swing into Kendo, play mat afterwards? Ooh, that'd be value. You wouldn't crash Kendos here. I mean, I guess you could, but I don't know how valuable that is in long term. Getting rid of the EX1 Gabu, though, is pretty clutch, so. And the potential for a other champion to swing into you. Yep, okay, so yeah, he is going for the Kendo play. A bit aggressive, but at least it maintains board parity and guarantees that he has a mat while Alistair does not. So he's just like trying to stay ahead in advantage because he knows security at the end of the day can be wiped by Bond. And there's the Drabu once again, giving his opponent 3 and drawing a card. Yeah, you know what? The more I think about it, Kendo is definitely correct there. Yeah, always. You trade 1 for 2, and you still end up with the most cards in play. There's a Manalobo. Man, no wonder these guys are in the finals. They keep getting double ads off Strabi. I wish I was that good. That's just my bitterness coming out. Hopefully, I'm doing well in Nationals when you guys are watching this video. If you're watching it on Friday when it comes out, wish me luck tomorrow, down below in the comments. Okay, we saw the EX1 Gabu and the mat come down for Alistair. Now it's Spooky's turn. Let me actually do a good job of reacting to this. I truly am interested to see what plays they choose to go for, because the Bond matchup is just like, so interesting. It's like you're both trying to be aggressive, but you're both trying to like keep up tempo, so it's like, where do you find the balance? Both have broken cards, so it's always... There we see the Gabu just swing. It's 2k to 1k. He is dead. We do not support Gabumon on Gabumon violence here. The TrueChampionSteven channel, let it be known. And there's another Gabu coming down. Man, Drabu, the more I use that card, the more I'm like, this is just such a good effect. I am a big fan of like draw effects when it comes to like adding on to something. I'm not a fan of draw effects that like don't do anything besides draw. At least Drabu can like be a body after he draws you a card. Fun. Back to Spooky. This could be a pretty important turn here, getting a ton of value off this EX1 Gabu if he evolves it into a champion. This is a moment where the new EX1 Akakumon as well could be pretty cool, but we see the Corridormon coming down. Just, you don't really want to evolve into it, but it's fine. He's going to plus a lot off the EX1 Gabu probably in the trigger. No targets, but 3 option cards go to the bottom. Pretty clutch option cards, actually. That could be useful for either not dying or getting rid of threats, which is also not dying. Here comes a Strabi swing, get more damage in, and it's a mat. So good that the Strabi lives for Alistair, but bad that he just gave more and more resources, even though, especially since Spooky was already ahead on resources. There we see Ice Wall coming down, preventing the potential game that Spooky did have. Good on Alistair for recognizing that. Game was in fact on board potentially. Now how does he end his turn? Another mat, a Gabu. Yep, there we see the promo Gabu. Gonna search for Tamer here. The mat. Now he's passing with Spooky. Promote this Gabumon here. Does, gets all that value. Knows he's probably not going for game this turn. Now he runs the risk of that Gabu being, dealt with in other means, having to wait another turn before getting more mat procs. See if he jumped the gun. It's always interesting, like I mentioned this in the first game, but getting rid of your Gabu that you know is the best one for going for game early can also cost you a lot of games, because now you have to find another one, and you can't really protect it unless you wait for the raising area to come up again. You gonna crash the Strabbies? He does crash the Strabbies. That's cool. I like that. And he plays the Modoki. Okay, this is fine. I like this. I still don't like the Gabumon being promoted, given that he has no way to go to the 3 memory either, but it happens. Okay, here we go. We're seeing the Howling memory boost come down, and like I said, that Gabu was now at risk to being trolled or tampered with, so now you can't go for game with it. And I believe Alistair is at 4 security, so he would need a lot of memory, and I think 2 hybrids to actually be able to go for game here. But he did get the second Gabu online, so now all he has to do is make sure he keeps up this current board state / try not to lose from Alistair on the crackback. And here we're seeing the swing. Interesting choice. There's a lot of scary security checks, actually. I'm surprised he went for that. Given that he knows Alistair's playing Cordiamon and whatnot, it was probably a bigger risk than he intended it to be. There's nothing really Alistair can do besides making sure this Madoki stays untampered with. Here we see the Davis coming down, choking at 1. This is good. This is good. Unless we see some way to get rid of this Madoki, there's really no way for Alistair. Game here, the crackback will allow Spooky to go for a big bond turn if he has access to one. This could be a situation, again, like I said earlier, where Magnadramon that we know Alistair's playing could be useful. But giving a bond deck 10 memory is like saying, here's the keys to my car, enjoy. Have some fun. Like a 16-year-old. And there we're seeing the boost come down, and oh my goodness, Spooky has all the resources. There we see the breath. Is will bounce something. All right, here we go. Does Alistair have the hybrid? And there it is. That's game. Yep. Sometimes it's just 2 memories enough to win, right? Basically, Alistair was like, if you have a Ice Wall or a Hammer Spark in your security, there's no way I can stop you from killing me, so here we go. I think if Alistair had 1 more memory, he could have gone for like a Kendo play to get rid of the Madoki, pop the Mem boost, and then swing, and then if he checks it, he can play differently if he needs to, but he didn't have access to that because of the 2 memory choke, so we're going to a game 3. Here we go, y'all. Game 3 of a national finals. Depending on who you are, this is the stuff you live for, or it's the stuff that keeps you up at night. Best of luck to both players. 3, 2, 1, digital gate open. Spooky let Alistair go first. I actually think when it comes to aggro v aggro, going first is a thing, but given this matchup usually ends with someone getting 3 memory and getting to draw a card going second, it's always tempting to have that much resource when it comes. There we see pretty even starts, but the Davis instead of the Strawby to choke Alistair at 1 and get a free search for a second Gabu, getting rid of 2 Drabus in the process. There we see the Strawby swing, and it reveals a mat. Oh, Spooky is getting value right now. Yes, the Strawby is still in play, but Spooky will have more than enough options to deal with Alistair's board on the crackback. Seeing the Octomon come down, that's big, huge. Allows him to, if Spooky goes for a Kendo play, to have an immediate response. So this Strawby is probably safe, actually. Attack again, thus making the mat more of a liability for Spooky than a plus. Alrighty, and we're seeing an early bond out of Spooky. Early bond is always a power play as a bond player, let me tell you. It is a pretty demanding play, but I think it's a good one here. Controls the board, he gets in 3 damage, hopefully. And just start to put on the pressure on Alistair and force him to go for a bond in response at some point. But his will be at much higher of a risk than Spooky's is at this current moment. And there we see the bond, but it was the last check, and it doesn't matter because he was going to die anyway. Oh, that's perfect. Just what Spooky wants. Board gone, no tamers, only 1 Hammer Spark in security that he accounted for already. Now he's like, where do I go from here? Probably you want to put something in play like a Strawby that'll let you get either access to Kendo or a hybrid or another tamer that you can play and set up for a following turn. Not the next one, but the turn after going for game. Right now, Alistair has no tamers, no threat of bond, no threat of hybrids. Spooky knows he has time to set up 1 more turn where he can get rid of those last 2 securities. It's just a matter of actually putting the cards into play. There we're seeing the 2-drop mat from the starter deck, which can give him +1 memory on the following turn with no, sources. If Spooky has a Digimon with no sources, okay, get +1 memory. Bit of like a low investment, low reward type card. You saw a lot of these back when the game first started. Now we have like things like Matashita, which are like medium investment, medium reward, but they stack like pretty crazy when you get multiple of them. And we just see a Kendo here, again, probably trying to like stem the bleeding when Boogie inevitably attacks with this Strabi or plays another rookie down. Then we're seeing another Hammer Spark. Ooh. Oh, the first 2 checks being Hammer Sparks for Alistair. This game could be totally different. But you know what? I applaud Spoogie's aggressive play. I think you need to be aggressive against Bond, no matter what deck you're playing, because the more aggressive you are, the more pressure you put on them to actually commit to things you would not want to. Because, believe it or not, the deck's all about timing. Like, it's a powerful deck, sure, but you need to play things at the right time. Otherwise, you're just going to mill out your entire security or waste swings that could have gone for game. And evolving into this Octomon here for Spoogie makes that Kendo basically useless and turns off the mat. So now he's just like, all right, Alistair, I see what you're going for. I'm not going to give you any resources, and next turn I am winning this game. Even if you play Ice Wall, even if that first check is a 3rd Hammer Spark, we're good. Now Alistair goes, how do I not die? What is my play for not dying? He would need... If he had a 2nd Tamer, he would just need 2 more memory, and he could actually have lethal, but given that he doesn't, he doesn't. Alrighty, here we go. Kendo is coming up. What is Alistair gonna go for? We haven't seen him play that Magnetron that we know he plays in his deck once yet. It could just be the amount of security checks he needs to survive. Then what does he do afterward? Even if he survives 1 more turn, he needs to have something he can do on the following turn, actually pressure. Here we see the Kendo swing, and it checks a Madoki. Nothing happens. Goes to 0. Why did he go to... Oh, because Spooky Ice Wall. Duh, I totally forgot. And there we see Absolute Blast passing over 6 memory. Here we go. Spooky needs a hybrid, which I believe we know he has. That's game. All right, Spooky, show it to us. Just use the... It's fine. Gabu's fine as by himself. Yeah, he's good. He's good. Wow, a 3rd Hammer Spark, dude. Alistair had 3 Hammer Sparks in security, and it wasn't enough. There's the Lobomon. Spooky, also known as Daniel, I believe, is your Europe National Champion for Digimon. Congratulations to both him and Alistair. You fought brilliantly. It was actually interesting to see how these 2 same decks, but built very differently, actually chose to compete. We did see some pretty clutch techs like Mechanorimon, Corridramon, and even Absolute Blast play a role in how well Alistair can do, but at the end of the day, Spoogie's maximization of consistency and aggression came out on top. And boom, there you guys go. That wraps up my reaction to the EU National Championship Finals. Hopefully you guys enjoyed what I had to say, and if you're preparing for Nationals last minute and got any value out of this video, be sure to let me know by smashing that like button, subscribing to the channel, and clicking that bell for notifications. You know, when my videos go live for you. Also, don't forget to check out my hopefully very long live stream this weekend for the NA National Finals. Link is down below to that. Be sure to follow so you don't miss out. Anyways, y'all, that'll go ahead and do it for me today. Thank you so much for watching. I've been your TrueChampionSteven. Please be sure to work hard, rest easy, and live well. And I will see you all next time. Peace.